This Week in Richmond is made possible in part by Dignity Memorial, caring for our communities with a network of funeral homes and cemeteries in Virginia and throughout North America. More information about Dignity Memorial's providers is online at dignitymemorial.com. Alpha Natural Resources, an energy company dedicated to respecting the land. Alpha Natural Resources, we power the world through the energy of our people. Haley Buick GMC, the place for a new Verano or Terrain Denali, in Richmond and online at haleybuickgmc.com. Everywhere there are lighting poles, there's one more opportunity to save money. Intelligent Illuminations provides cost-effective wireless lighting solutions for roadway or area outdoor lights. The Virginia Chamber of Commerce, the voice of the Virginia business community, working in legislative, regulatory, and political arenas to promote the free enterprise system. Additional support is provided by these sponsors. And by the members of Virginia's public television stations. Thank you.
Welcome to This Week in Richmond, and a very special welcome to Fran Inge. Fran, your title is so long. You're in Department of Social Services in charge of volunteerism. What is the full title?
I'm the director of the Division of Community and Volunteer Services, and we basically oversee any of the programs that serve as a safety net to Virginians who work in community-based programs.
Well, when I saw the news release just a few weeks back from the governor's office about it's time to nominate people for awards, saw your name, delighted you could be on the program to tell our viewers. Let's start even with telling them some about the categories and about the deadline to nominate people for some very special volunteer awards.
Sure, David. There are wonderful people all across the Commonwealth that are helping lots of our citizens every day as volunteers. And so we would like to spend some time in having organizations or individuals nominate individuals and groups who could then be awarded the Governor's Award for volunteerism.
Now, some of our viewers have heard about this before, but some may be hearing the first time. It's been around for about 20 years, hasn't it?
It has. It's about a 20-year program, and basically once a year, we solicit nominations from folks in areas for individuals and organizations, businesses, faith communities, families, all sorts of different categories. And then once a year, the governor actually makes an award to an individual or an organization that has demonstrated exemplary volunteer service to the Commonwealth.
And we're going to make sure our viewers see on the website where they can go and can get more information and can even follow a couple of links, and they can nominate someone right online.
That is correct. We've tried to make it as easy of a process as we can. So we have a website, vaservice.org, that citizens can go to and nominate an individual or a group for the volunteerism awards.
And also, those awards are age grouped.
They are. We have them for young people, we have them for adults, and we also have them for seniors as well.
Well, and then when you get into each of those, there are about 6 different categories. So there's great deal of opportunity for people to be recognized. And I was amazed at some of the information I was reading about how many Virginians typically volunteer, and the volunteer hours is just overwhelming.
It is. You know, Virginians have always responded to whatever the need has been, whether it's for disasters for first responders, whether it's for children and helping to mentor in our PTAs, in our schools, in our hospitals. Volunteers are found all over the Commonwealth, and they're the real fabric of what makes America great and the Commonwealth great as well. So we really would like for folks to take the time and nominate a very well-deserving person or a group that could fit the bill for these awards.
And we would encourage them to go ahead and do that soon because the deadline is
It is
before the end.
January 28th, and so we would like to have all the nominations in so we can submit those for consideration to have this award. That's correct.
Now, there's another aspect of what you're working on that we need to tell the viewers about too. That's national service. What does that mean?
That is correct. You know, we have, there is volunteerism is a wonderful thing, and we have lots of that across the Commonwealth. And for many people, they use volunteerism as a path to employment because they gain experiences that they may need. But there is also a way to, another path to employment through national service. And many of folks may have heard about the Peace Corps or AmeriCorps or Vista workers. These are the types of national service that are happening also across the Commonwealth, and we would love for the viewers to know about these programs as well.
You know, I was somewhat surprised to see that the number was greater than 6,000
Yes.
are involved in those programs that you just described.
Yes, and federally we get about over $11 million to provide service in this way to communities all across the Commonwealth. So basically community organizations would apply to have a site with national service members, and then young people and old people and all kinds of people can apply to become service members, and they also receive a stipend for their efforts at doing this as well for educational purposes that they may use, or they may also pass it on to a grandchild, for example.
So the challenge, I think we were talking about even before we started the show, the challenge is for organizations to really apply and say we need someone to help us? Or
Yes. If you have a community problem, then we have a solution for you. And you know, a lot of times communities will say, "Oh, there's so much that we need to have done in our community that takes money or it takes personnel." And this is an opportunity for you to learn how this might be a good way to solve a community problem with national service opportunities for young people.
the applications then can come from service clubs, from,
Yes.
can they come from local governments?
They
from the
can
community?
come from local governments, they come from state governments, they come from nonprofits. We have faith communities that churches and synagogues that can apply, and so there's no real limit to the ways that we can help to solve community problems with national service. The information on national service is also found on the website.
The same site?
The same site.
Okay.
It's vaservice.org. We try to have one location for all information regarding volunteerism and service in the Commonwealth.
So let's think together about some of the potential problems. And let's say there's a problem in a community, and they're working on homelessness, or they're working on providing food. So could that be the kind of a problem or challenge where they would apply then to get someone to come and?
Yes, in fact, the Shenandoah Valley has recently been awarded some funds from a national service to help with their point-in-time count for their homelessness count. And so there are all kinds of ways such as that. There is also programs that provide mentoring in public schools, that provide assistance with food collection sites and those types of things. There's all kinds of ways. If you have a problem, there's probably a way that national service could help you address those problems.
And one of the other statistics that, as I read up before our time together, that I found very intriguing was the greater likelihood of a person finding employment
Yes.
if they earlier had been a volunteer.
That is correct. We're 27 times more likely to find employment. And I think the reason for this is the networking that is able to occur along with the skills that are developed when one is volunteering in a field that they're interested in having employment in. So I think it's a great opportunity for those. I personally have children that are recently out of high school and college, and it's a wonderful opportunity sometimes for volunteerism and for national service as a pathway to employment. A lot of times now colleges are talking about that gap year, where we're talking about what's going to happen in that 1 year between then. And so we're encouraging young people to look at service as an option. And our website has all the information that they can use to find more information on becoming a national service member.
Now, to be a national service member, you can be older than a young person, right?
You can.
It
You
could
can.
be
We actually
an
have
adult
senior
or-
core programs and
Okay.
RSVP programs across the Commonwealth, and they are wonderful opportunities and provide wonderful things for our folks too. There's a foster grandparent program it's a national service program, and all of these also are on the website that provides information.
I was really interested in seeing that even someone may be changing careers or maybe middle-aged, whatever that is, and doing volunteer work, that helps that person then maybe if they're interested in full-time employment after that.
Correct. Correct. It's a great way of thinking about, we try to do a lot of work with workforce development and trying to provide skills and matching individuals up with the skills that are needed for full-time employment as well.
The number of Virginians involved in some sort of volunteer work, whether it's a few hours or whether it's almost full-time, seems astounding. It looks like it's almost like about 1 in 6 or so.
1 in 4.
1 in 4.
1 in 4 Virginians actually volunteer in some capacity. And this might be volunteering for a soup kitchen. It might be a food pantry at your church. It could be volunteering with the PTA and the carnival. There's all kinds of ways that volunteers make our Commonwealth much better than it is. And that's part of the reason we want to recognize the wonderful service that these individuals make in the Commonwealth.
Okay, so before our time runs out, let's tell them again about what do they need to do.
Well, we're saying there's 2 things that we're asking you to do today. And the first thing is to nominate an individual or a group for the Volunteer of the Year awards that the governor will be giving out this spring, and do that by January 28th. And the second thing is that if your community has a problem, we're asking you to look at the vaservice.org website and look and see if possibly national service could be the way that you could address that community problem.
Fran, we thank you so much. Here around Capitol Square, by the time the session convenes, there will be volunteers here from colleges, and they'll be getting experience. And you've helped our viewers understand that it's not just volunteers who are in college, it's beyond that, it's at any age. So thank you so much for being on This Week in Richmond.
And thank you for having me.
Welcome to This Week in Richmond. At the time we're having a conversation, I'll say welcome Delegate Rosalyn Dance. But at the time that some of our folks are seeing the program, it'll be in that transition time, and some of them will see and say, oh, she's our senator now.
Exactly.
She's the newly elected senator representing 6 jurisdictions. So we're delighted to have you on. Following the legendary Henry Marsh in
Yes.
this seat.
Yes. It was quite a journey to get here, but it was worth the effort that it took to get here. And I didn't travel alone. There was a lot of my friends, family, supporters that took the journey with me. And for me, if I counted in months, I would say, quite frankly, it's been about an 18-month journey, because it was a primary and an election, and then last year, and then again a primary and election this year, and we're now in the position of being senator-elect. That's not a bad position. So I say I'm transitional. I am still I'm between the House and the Senate. I say that we've had the ceremonial swearing in, we've had the wedding ceremony, if you'd say, but now we'd say the preacher would sign the license. In this case, it's the State Board of Election will make sure the certification comes down, and we're ready to go. Office has been assigned, and I've seen my seat, and it already has my nameplate on it, and we're about the process of getting signage changed. My district office will stay in Old Town in Petersburg, because it still represents 5 of the 6 localities that I represent, and that's where they know. We'll just assign, instead of saying delegate, it will say Senator Rosalyn Dance. In Richmond, at the General Assembly, as you know, we already have an office. And quite frankly, after August 9th, when the primary was over, I started receiving calls from the Richmond constituency, and they had already determined that I was going to be their representative. I loved the way they thought about it. And so we immediately started seeing, and at one point, about 90% of the people that we were seeing was from Richmond, which is a good thing. And now after the election on November the 4th, I have 100%. And that is these full 6 localities. I now have 3 cities and 3 counties. I have a footprint in Chesterfield, where I was born. I'm a native of Chesterfield County. So Chesterfield, Dinwiddie, Prince George are the 3 counties and the 3 cities. Hopewell, all of Petersburg, and parts of the city of Richmond. People will say the south side and the east side, and they know the Churchill. If you mention that area, then they know what areas you're talking about. So it's been quite a journey. I've done a lot of walking and knocking doors, and wherever they allowed me to come, wherever they assembled in Richmond and they would invite me to come, I tried to get there. Sometimes I try to invite myself and they let me come.
Yes.
And that was a good thing
Yes.
too. But one of the greatest things for me is that when we looked at the numbers, you can do the percentages and all that, and the unofficial numbers is that Richmond, we got, for a locality, gave me the best numbers this time. So it's like, I guess that's a way of saying welcome.
That was a good welcome.
Yes,
a good welcome.
I really feel welcome in Richmond. Have had a chance to meet with the local government, and today was a day of learning about their legislative issues, getting ready for session 2015. I got to be prepared and to represent, get my legislation in. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Richmond has welcomed me, and they're sharing, inviting me to various things. And the holidays will be very busy for me and my family as we engage with our new members. One of the highlights, though, was when I did a walk on Jefferson Davis Highway. But I brought people from Petersburg, Hopewell, Chesterfield, the other areas that came to walk with us. And so that end, I say the South of the James group came to meet the Richmond group. We walked as a group, and by the end of that walk, everybody was like one big happy family. So that was a good day.
Oh, that was quite dramatic. And you
yeah.
certainly had a dramatic party here at the Capitol and that ceremonial swearing in.
That was really special. We have a new library in Petersburg. So at the new library, for the 5 areas south of the James, and we didn't send out any paper trail. It was just people we knew that had worked with us that we personally invited to come and gave them directions. And we had 3 buses that left from Petersburg on the way to the Capitol on Sunday, November the 9th, as well as a smaller bus for the family, because I had family members that came from outside of, from other states that came to visit, and they wanted to be here for that historical moment. And we filled up the floor, the chamber, the galleries, and Senate rooms 1 and 2. We had an awesome reception, and I think a couple of the highlights for the people there was that Senator Don McKeechin, he presided over the ceremony, and Governor McCullough was there. And the significant thing about him is that we had, one of my schools is John Tyler Community College, and Dr. Freddie Nicholas, I love him dearly, and he made the journey. So that was really special for me. But the seating for the governor was right beside him. So 2 of my favorite men were sitting together, but for the people that were there, that was like a special treat, and the governor did do remarks at the end. So they were really excited about that. But we had a nice reception. The people got a chance to go into the Jefferson Room, the old Senate chambers, and look at the protocol. They got to see where every governor of Virginia stands, when he's taking his oath. So they got to look out those windows and see what they see on television, but it was real. For a lot of the people that were there on this day in Jefferson's capital, it was their capital, and they'd never been there before, let alone sit in the Senate chambers. So that was a special occasion for them. For me, I had my grandboys, because I have 4 grandboys, and my 3 great-granddaughters, and they were the ones that actually held the Bible for their Grammy to get sworn in. So that is for them later on in life. They'll remember that, golly, our Grammy was the first African-American female to represent Petersburg, coming from Petersburg, to represent the Senate, to be the representative from the 16th Senatorial District. That is quite an honor, quite a responsibility. That, before Reconstruction, there were men that served, African-American men that served. since Reconstruction, there has been Senator Henry Marsh. So there's quite a legacy. But for my great-granddaughters, and the youngest was a year old, this is something for them to remember later on in life. So that was our special ceremony. Yeah. And on the 24th, when certification is, and it'll probably be gone by then, that will be, like, so the license have just been signed on the wedding.
It's over. Well, as a father of two daughters, I will not let it go unnoticed that there is now one more woman in the Senate of Virginia.
Yes, yes.
Two new senators have been elected here in special elections, replacing two men, one man and one woman. So there's an additional woman there, and I think that's important to the women of the Commonwealth.
Yes, women can do it too. Yes, we can. And you know what? The wonderful thing about it is acceptance from the men, because they have that if we come and we prove that we have the skills, knowledge, and abilities to do the job, they have been most receptive and most supportive. I just could not ask for a better person to work with here in Richmond than Senator Don Keechan and Senator John Watkins. So we're the three now that represent the city of Richmond, and both of those gentlemen have been nothing but gentlemanly in welcoming me to Jefferson's Capitol on the Senate side, as they refer to it.
Yes.
And
yes.
They introduced me during the special session when I came up, and it was an awesome thing to get a standing ovation from all the members of the Senate, and then a warm welcome, especially from the ladies. So that was really special for me. So I've had my introduction. They're all warmly welcoming and telling me that I'm going to love it better, they say, on the Senate side. I really loved the House. The 99 members, you know, myself making 100, was a great group of men and women to work with. And in 10 years, I've learned a lot. So I get to take my body of knowledge, all that I've gained in the House, to the Senate.
And you had some very important committee responsibilities,
yes.
And so now you await to see which committees you'll be serving on in the Senate.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that, because everything is a learning opportunity. But again, I don't go empty-handed, because I take 10 years of learning, because the committees that we have in the House, they might be more compact in the Senate, but every bill that's passed in the House has to be passed in the Senate. And so what we do in the House, we still have to go to the Senate to introduce our same bills and hopefully get the Senate to pass them in order to get them to the governor's desk. And so I've been doing that for 10 years, and so I know the men and women on that side, and I'm looking forward to it. So.
And you'll be joining what I believe is either 20 or maybe 21 members of the Senate who have served in the House.
You are correct, yes. And I know those guys. So in a sense, they're like family, like a reunion time. So right. I don't feel at all alone as I make this journey from one end of the hall to the other. But I tell you, when I walked from the House during the last special session and left there to go over to the Senate for the introduction, it was like a long walk down that short hall to get to the other side. But I'm feeling confident that it's going to be okay, and that every day I know the responsibilities that I hold, and I will take that with me and do the best job I can for the citizens of the 16th Senatorial District.
And I think you said at the beginning of our conversation that you have the same office in Petersburg.
Yes, yes.
And when folks are contacting you during the session here, who have been used to contacting Senator Marsh, it's the same phone number.
Yes.
Because the phone numbers here at the General Assembly, thank goodness, years ago, they have them assigned to the district.
Yes.
And so they roll on over.
Exactly. So, right, and the end number is going to be 16, and the same pretty much for the your email address. You know, where it is Marsh 16, it'll be Dan 16, and of course we'll have some password changes that will legitimize it and make it mine. But I already know that my room number will be 320. So I've already I have a room assignment. I have my desk assignment. We're working on the stationery now and the business cards that have to happen on my district office, new signage that says Senator. So we're planning on taking everything live in a week from now. And all the pictures, and like I said, we had several hundred of my good friends that came up.
Yes.
And they all got sent around. How you like that?
Oh, that's
That's a
nice.
VIP. That's a special time.
That is
and so
nice.
I use it as my receiving line. So everybody that
Right.
came through got a picture in front of the days
Yes.
of the Senate seal that say, "Today I'm a very important person in Virginia, and I'm here."
Our time has run out. I'm going to end it by saying thank you, Senator Dance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I look
Thank
forward
you.
to working with you.
Thank you.
This Week in Richmond is made possible in part by Dignity Memorial, caring for our communities with a network of funeral homes and cemeteries in Virginia and throughout North America. More information about Dignity Memorial's providers is online at dignitymemorial.com. Alpha Natural Resources, an energy company dedicated to respecting the land. Alpha Natural Resources, we power the world through the energy of our people. Haley Buick GMC, the place for a new Verano or Terrain Denali, in Richmond and online at haleybuickgmc.com. Everywhere there are lighting poles, there's one more opportunity to save money. Intelligent Illuminations provides cost-effective wireless lighting solutions for roadway or area outdoor lights. The Virginia Chamber of Commerce, the voice of the Virginia business community, working in legislative, regulatory, and political arenas to promote the free enterprise system. Additional support is provided by these sponsors. And by the members of Virginia's public television stations. Thank you.